So I'm here with Mark. Mark is Syrian and we met in the gym here in Italy. And since he's a very good English speaker, I thought to interview him, to ask him a couple questions so you can practice your English and we can learn a little bit about a man who comes from so far away from Brazil. During this interview, we might be fighting off some mosquitoes, all right?
Yeah.
So I hope you don't mind. So Mark, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, of course. Hello everyone, I'm Mark Maxi. I am a software engineer. I came from Syria and now I'm in Italy here studying and I'm about to graduate. And as Rodrigo said, we met in the gym because I'm also a calisthenics athlete and we discovered our passion for calisthenics together. So we met and we started discussing these things and yeah, here we are.
Yeah. The first thing I need to ask you, man, is the reason why you came from Syria is very different from ours. We came from Brazil here just to experience a little bit of Europe, digital nomad. Tell us, what was the reason you came from Syria to here?
Yeah, it's for Syrians it's different because traveling outside their country to Europe, for example, or any other country is hard in terms of the documents that you need and the hardships that you and racism even in embassies. So Syria is kind of on the blacklist in terms of the countries that are allowed to go out. So for me, the motivation that I had to why I had to leave the country is to escape the war because the war is brutal. So I had to decide to escape the war. That's my first priority. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I found also a program that combines computer science with biology, which is something I like, and yeah, I find it something interesting. That's why I decided to come here, and yeah, that was my priority to come to first get to a safe place, and then to study, and later to work.
Yeah, now for us in Brazil, this is a very alien concept where you have to move somewhere to escape the war. You mean a literal war, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. And how was this process of escaping the war there? Was it easy to get out of your country? Was it easy to come over here? The documents, how hard did they make your life?
It's extremely hard because because in a regime that is totalitarian and that is dictator, if everyone escapes the country, then there is no one to rule, and if there is no one to rule, then there is no pleasure for these people. So they have to make everything hard for you. So they force you to stay and suffer for no reason. For example, if you want to get your passport, my passport is valid only for 1 year and a half. It's 2 years, but 6 months is lost, so it's basically 1 year and a half. And I have to renew it every year and a half. And for example, since I'm living in Italy, there is no Syrian embassy in Italy. I have to go outside of Italy and pay a lot of money on the road and just to renew a passport. And the process of renewing a passport, it takes like 6 months in order to get your passport, and that's very very sad when you see like other nationalities, they do their passports within a few days, but you have to wait 6 months to get your passport. And that's your how you suffer as a Syrian outside your country. And when you are in Syria and you want to go out, so taking the process of taking your passport there is extremely hard. People wait on queues for days.
Days?
Yeah, some people come at 2 a.m. Sorry, in the morning. They sleep on the street just to reserve their place in the queue, and maybe they are kicked out at the end of the day at 3 p.m. for example. It's so easy to be told that there is no more paper, come tomorrow, and you come tomorrow, it's the same thing. It's just very very sad and very terrible experience, but I had to fight. You can pay some money, but also I mean pay some money to get your things done and sorted out, but you have to know who you want to pay because if you dealt with the wrong person, if you didn't pay him enough, he will punish you for sure because
Yeah.
you didn't respect him.
So you see, the next time, don't complain about Brazil. Oh, you need a passport, but we get to come to Europe for 90 days just with a passport. No need for a visa. So
Yeah.
we should stop complaining a little bit, I think, right? And Mark, for you coming to Europe as a Syrian, how was your experience? Did you experience a lot of cultural clash? What about learning the languages here? Is English enough for you to get by?
Okay, so for cultural differences, I didn't see much because I'm living in Italy, and Italy is has a very similar culture to Syria and the Mediterranean area in general, like Italy, Greece, Syria, Lebanon. I mean, the entire Mediterranean area has some cultural similarities. So it was not shocking that much. But for in terms of language, of course, language is the core of the culture. So for language, I didn't know much Italian. I learned in the past just for fun, nothing serious. But learning a new language is not easy. You have to spend a lot of time, and as someone who is fluent in English and who you just need to sit and learn the basics of a new language, like how to say me and you and stuff like that.
The basic stuff.
Yeah, it's humiliating in some way, but it opens doors. It opens doors for many things. Like if you don't know the language, you are literally blind to millions of people, and also you are blind to the work opportunities that are there, and also for the books if you are a reader. The books, the culture, the literature. Yeah, so there are millions of things that you are missing just because you don't know the language. So I think learning a new language is something worth if you are moving to a new country and if you are planning to stay in that country, even if you can pass the day by just English, or even if you can work by just knowing English. I think it's even worth to learn the language of the country that you are living in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you speak very good English, man. What is the native language in Syria?
Arabic.
Arabic. So how did you get to learn your English living in a country that speaks Arabic?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I have some goosebumps now because English is a near and dear language to my heart. I started learning English. I found my passion for this language when I was very young, like when I was 14. Yeah, I was 14, 13, something like that. I discovered my passion for English, and I started studying English, not just from the class books, but I bought books from the library to learn the grammar, to learn vocabularies, and even my teacher back then, my teacher, I was like in a competition, not in competition, but when you are young, you have to impress. When you like someone so much, you have to impress him. You know, like a kid who wants to always impress his parents, so he always tries to do something cool. And the same way it was for me. I liked my teacher so much, so I wanted to impress him. And the way I wanted to impress him is, for example, learning new vocabularies and start to asking him about these things and the grammar. And he encouraged me. He didn't put me down. He had the thing that he had a dictionary in his pocket all the time. Yeah, he taught me a very interesting lesson in life, which is it's not shameful to be ignorant about something. And so he motivated me to learn the language, and I also did develop that skill. And when I graduated from school, I knew good English, but I was not able to speak. I was not able to understand listening because at school you are mainly in written and reading in English, but you don't practice speaking or listening. So when I graduated from high school, I was 18. I started to explore the world outside the school. So the first thing I tried was exploring my body and exploring my physical abilities. So I started learning about parkour, which is a sport, like some people call it extreme sport, but in my opinion it's not. So I started learning about parkour.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So This is something that I always tell my students. You learned about something you wanted, but in English.
Yeah, exactly.
You learned about parkour and calisthenics in English.
Exactly, yeah. That's the point. If you want to learn something, you have learning a new language is a very personal thing. Like I know, for example, let's say I'm C1 in English, and you are C1 in English. Both our vocabularies will not be the same. Our grammars will not be the same because our interests are not the same. Everyone is interested in something different than the other. So of course I will know vocabularies in some areas more than vocabularies in other areas. And when I start watching videos on parkour and on YouTube, especially from the people that are my best friends, they are the Tab brothers. They are the best people in the world, in my opinion. I have long story behind them, but anyway, these people, I start to follow them on YouTube. They do parkour videos. They do later. They start doing in kung fu and martial arts, and some calisthenics as well. So I learned not only these skills as physical skills, but I also improved my listening. When I first started, I was not able to understand anything from what they say. I just wanted to learn the skill itself, the how to do a movement, how to flip, how to do something cool.
Nice.
But with time, my ears started to catch the words, and every person has a specific way of introducing themselves and introducing everyone has his own touch, his personal touch. So when you start watching some people for a long time, you start to understand what this personal touch they have in their videos, and they start to become familiar with you. They are not just strangers on the internet. You build some kind of relationship with them, and that improves your ability to absorb the information, absorb the language that they are speaking, and that was what helped me in learning the language, or more specifically in terms of speaking.
So repetition is key, right?
Yeah, repetition.
You watch the same guy for a long time, and you're gonna start understanding more.
And specifically in niches, it depends on where people live, how they pronounce it. So niches that are interested to you. If you are interested in fitness, watch more fitness videos. If you are interested in philosophy, watch more videos in this term. Or
Yeah, that's a problem. That's actually a mistake many people make learning English. They just try to learn it as a tool. They get any random text to learn, to which they have zero personal attachment, and they think English is boring. It's not English that is boring, it's the thing you're doing that is boring.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And I'd like to ask you also about food, because like I told you, and like you also told me like 20 years ago, there was a huge influx of Syrian Lebanese people to South America, and that's why we have a little bit of contact with Syrian food. Now, tell me, what is a staple Syrian food that you can tell any Brazilian to try?
Kebbe.
What is it called?
Kebbe.
Kebbe. Explain.
Okay, kebbe. So this is the thing. I'm not so much familiar with the vocabularies in terms of cuisine and food.
No worries.
But I'll try my best.
Sure.
So kebbe is like a bowl, but bowls of meat, and inside it there is also meat and onion, and it's prepared inside the oven. You have to cook it and eat it.
I see. You're right. Okay, perfect.
And also some people add yogurt to it.
Ah, kibe.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Kibe. Oh, we eat that in Brazil all the time.
So we call it kibe. Okay.
Like Habib's.
There is a very famous restaurant in Brazil. It's called Habib's. It's like a fast food chain, and it's an Arabic fast food chain.
Okay.
And kibe is one of the main foods they have.
Okay.
Now that you
So I already
explained
know
it,
it. Okay.
now that you explained it, now I got it. But kibe. So there you go.
Yeah, that's typical Syrian dish.
But how do you pronounce it? Like
Kebbe.
Kibe.
kibbe.
Yeah, it's basically the same. Yeah. Okay, that's super interesting, man. Nice.
Yeah.
And do you like, man? We in São Paulo, right? We had a huge influx of Italian culture, 50, 60 years ago, and to this day, Italian food is very popular in São Paulo. So we eat lots of pasta, lasagna, parmigiana, all of that. So for us, when we're here in Italy, it's amazing. We are eating things that we eat in Brazil, but it's even better because it came out from here.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Italian food? Were you able to adapt fast?
Personally, I like the kind of Italian food that I tried is pasta, and it's as I call it as pasta and its alternatives.
Pasta and its alternatives, nice.
Yeah, but personally, I like Syrian food more than Italian food. Although Italian food is really nice, especially if you try the seafood. Seafood is they make seafood in very great way. Yeah,
I see. And have you had any Brazilian food?
no, I
Never.
don't try. Do
I
you
see.
recommend any?
Of course I do. Yes. In Brazil, there is the best cut of meat we have. It's called picanha.
Picanha?
More or less, like, do you say how you pronounce Bologna?
Yeah.
So
Bologna.
Picanha.
Picanha.
Yes. Okay. That's
Okay.
good. Yes. It's normally the cut of meat that it's the one we use for barbecue there.
Okay.
So it's amazing. Unfortunately I don't know how to say that in Italian nor in English, but I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna send it to you. You can probably find any butcher to buy it.
Okay.
All right, mate. Nice. Okay.
I'd like to try it.
Yes, you should. It's amazing. And I'd like to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
You came here to Italy and you're studying here. Do you plan on staying here, or do you think of going somewhere else after you finish your studies?
So, if you want to stay in the country, you have to learn its language.
Yeah.
And if you don't learn its language, it's a bit hard. And you have to have some motivation to learn the language. For me, I decided to join my girlfriend. She lives in the UK. So for me, the goal is to go to the UK because I can speak their language and I can integrate in their society even faster. But here you need at least 1-2 years more in order to learn the language and integrate with the society. But in English-speaking countries, you don't need that. So I'm not planning to stay in Italy for long.
Yes, but in the UK they have that British accent.
Yeah, and I love it.
Oh yeah, nice. Yes, the British accent is a nice one.
We have some guests to the
Yeah,
video.
there's some guess.
I love animals.
Nice. The British accent was actually the first one I learned because I studied in a school in Brazil. It's called. The name of the school is English Culture, Cultura Inglesa in Portuguese.
Okay.
So the British accent was the first one I learned. It's very nice.
Nice, nice. You have a good accent.
Yeah, you're gonna like listening to it.
I just know one word: water.
Water, yes, perfect. You're halfway there. You're halfway there. You just
Yeah.
need to apply this water to every other word, and you're fine.
The whole phrase, like the bowl of water.
A bottle of water. Can you get me a bottle of water? And then you're fine. Mark, brother, thank you very much. It was
Thank you
very
very
nice talking to you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
And that was it. So I hope you liked this interview. I suggest that you try to watch this interview many times. Like Mark said, the more you watch something, the more words you're gonna get. So try to watch more, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.